Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Global Beast Tamer. I, the Eternal Beast Tamer. Chapter 21. Come out, Tonebird. Come out, Rhinoceros. Come out, Poison-Crested Salamander. Come out, Luyaniao. Without waiting for a moment, all the veteran students immediately summoned their own beasts. Each majestic royal beast is standing on the ground or flying in the sky. Hundreds of beasts appeared at the same time, occupying all the nearby open space in the blink of an eye. Run, run, run for your life. The new students in other classes are already frightened. Seeing that a new round of war is about to break out, they are the most vulnerable targets. With one person's reminder, others quickly realized that this place had become a place of right and wrong. The only thing to do now is to run away quickly. If it's too late, maybe even the scum will be left behind. The scene was very chaotic. There was even a stampede. Run slowly, this way. Don't step. Some neutral teachers and instructors were busy evacuating the students. They already knew that there was no room for relaxation. But they need to protect the students in their own class, and other students are innocent. No one could have imagined that the scene that they thought was one-sided would turn out like this. At this time, the students watching the theater wished that their parents had given them more legs, and they only hated themselves for running slowly. But the veteran students who were confronting each other didn't pay attention to the others at all. Now they only thought about blasting GTN together, otherwise they would have trouble sleeping and eating in the future. How dare you? Don't you know that casualties are not allowed in the base? Station Master Hai stood up immediately. If there were mass deaths today, he would be blamed. Moreover, he is very optimistic about GTN and cannot let anything happen to him under his eyes. Immediately, Station Commander Hai went down to stop these students from attacking GTN. Station Master Hai, you'd better not go down. A silver-level powerhouse with an ugly scar on his face stopped Commander Hai directly. What? You want to rebel? Station Commander Hai's face turned green. He didn't expect that his subordinates would dare to stop him. Webmaster, don't get me wrong, I just don't want you to get involved in conflicts between students. The scarred man grinned. Asshole, don't forget, you are an instructor at the base. Aren't you afraid of being held accountable? Don't you have any responsibilities as an instructor? Station Master Hai was trembling with anger. These are all worms in the base, dogs from those bullshit families. He had known about it before, but he thought there was nothing wrong with it, so he didn't pay much attention to it. I just didn't expect something like this to happen today. Responsibility. Ha ha ha. After today, do you think I will still stay here? No, I cannot. Those of us have received assurances from the family that they will solve our troubles. And we will also become the guests of all major families. At that time, who will dare to touch us? Quote. The scarred man laughed wildly. How could he do this without enough benefits? And what Zhao Yongning said was right. If he doesn't kill GTN now, he will definitely take revenge in the future. Principal, I think you should stay here. The instructors and teachers, who were still a little hesitant at first, immediately took sides after hearing this. They have no way out. Station Master Hai is a top-level expert in silver, but he is surrounded by 30 or 40 intermediate and advanced experts in silver. Under such circumstances, even he cannot act rashly. As long as you are willing to turn back, I can help you plead with GTN. At this time, Teacher Yi Wan said to the dozen or so people surrounding her. It's impossible, we can't turn back. Even if we turn back, will Station Commander Hai let us go? Will those with gold-level families let us go? A woman wearing a tight-fitting coat shook her head and smiled bitterly. From the moment they got involved in this matter, there was no turning back and they could only choose one side to join. Well, knowing that they had completely made up their minds, Yi Wan stopped saying anything. The four of them can't do anything now except pray for GTN's good luck. GTN, go to hell. Zhao Yongning took the lead in letting his hell demon wolf emit death light waves, and then hundreds of beasts attacked at the same time. Sound effect slash. Water wave sting. Wan Dao Lang. Death blade. The sky-wide energy attack illuminated the surrounding darkness. An overwhelming attack hit GTN like raindrops. Go to hell. This is their common sentiment at this time. Monsters like GTN should not appear here, nor should they live in this world. GTN, on the other hand, remained calm despite the attacks all over the sky, with calmness in his eyes. A bunch of scum, do you really think that having more people will be useful? But in this chaotic scene, no one could hear what he said. Howling Moon Sirius, teleport. The next moment, GTN disappeared directly from the place. And the sky-wide energy attacks also hit the place where GTN was just now. Boom. A huge roar sounded in the violent bombing, not one sound, but dozens of sounds in succession. This sound travels very far, and can be heard clearly even from a distance of dozens of miles. The explosion of energy brought about a dazzling light, causing everyone present to cover their eyes in excitement. Smoke filled the air. The rising heat wave hit all around, forcing everyone to keep retreating. Chapter 22. After a long time, the dazzling bright light gradually disappeared, and the choking dust also gradually dissipated. Everyone opened their arms that covered their eyes and looked towards the place where they were attacked. There is no trace of GTN in the place. The ground seemed to have been ravaged countless times, with large and small potholes covering dozens of meters around it. And the deepest pit in the middle is 10 meters deep. This shows the power of this large-scale attack. It was comparable to the full blow of a gold-level powerhouse. He should be dead, right? Someone gasped and said, having just launched dozens of attacks at once, almost consuming all his energy. Now I feel even more exhausted physically and mentally. We won. Zhao Yongning had a smile on his face. Thinking about the extremely urgent moment just now, he made the most correct choice. Even if he was punished, he would unite everyone to kill GTN. Fortunately, he succeeded. The other veteran students behind him also smiled. As long as GTN was destroyed, everything else would be easy to deal with. We won. The silver-level experts in the sky also heaved a sigh of relief. They understood the meaning of GTN's talent very well. Now, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Very well, this is your choice. Goodbye then. Just when everyone was breathing a sigh of relief, a voice that sounded like a devil to them came. Is he still there? At this moment, everyone was so frightened that they had goosebumps. They turned their heads tremblingly and looked in the direction where the sound came from. On top of the city wall that was tens of meters high, they saw a graceful young man standing with his hands folded. His contemptuous gaze could be clearly felt by them even from dozens of meters apart. Those cold eyes, across the dark night, made everyone feel cold. How could he still be alive? Even the top silver warriors will be annihilated under such an attack. Someone said in a frightened voice. But GTN will not let these people live for one more second. You can go die. GTN's cold voice was like a devil demanding life, making those who heard it tremble and feel terrified. No, I don't want to die. Please let me go. Finally, someone couldn't bear it anymore and knelt down to beg GTN for mercy. I don't want to die. My parents are still waiting for me at home. Please, I am willing to be a slave to you. I just ask you to let me go. The beautiful girl of heaven who was usually aloof now fell to her knees and was willing to be GTN's slave. No, you can't kill me. My father is a silver-level expert. If you kill me, you will regret it. There are still 2 generations who are unwilling to bow their heads. He thinks that GTN does not dare to kill them. Yes, my second aunt is the wife of the head of the Zhang family. How dare you deal with me? A second-generation man who didn't know where he got the strength stood up with trembling legs and pointed at GTN and said arrogantly. Until now, he has not analyzed that the situation is not as simple as he thought. GTN, those are your classmates. They are the future of Laoshan City. Do you dare to touch them? Aren't you afraid of being wanted? GTN, you can't do this, it will cost hundreds of lives. Don't regret it. Teachers one after another persuaded GTN to kidnap GTN with benevolence, righteousness and morality. Oh, why didn't you say anything just now? Isn't my GTN's life not my life? GTN's face became more and more cruel. These people were already terminally ill. GTN, please calm down first. We can discuss anything. A teacher said to GTN gently. If something happens to these students today, they will all be doomed. These are dozens of children from those families. If something happens to these people, the sky in Laoshan City will collapse. GTN, I don't advise you, I just hope you can consider the consequences. Station Master Hai knew that persuasion was useless and could only rely on his own thoughts. I'm only going to make one move, you can catch it, let's talk about it later. Seemingly thinking of something, GTN suddenly smiled. Really? A teacher asked hurriedly. He was worried that GTN would regret it. Really? GTN nodded. Quick, protect the students. Teachers mobilized, and dozens of teachers fell in front of the group of veteran students in an instant. Oh, I'm a webmaster. Station Master Hai had no choice but to fly down as well. Below are his students, and he cannot ignore them. We are safe. The students behind the teacher felt that a big stone in their hearts had finally fallen to the ground. This is their strongest fortress. Howling Moon Sirius, Absolute Wind Blade. Unlimited bursts. With a smile on his lips, GTN lowered his head and said, ouch. With GTN's order, Xiaoyu Sirius roared without hesitation. In a blink, huge white blades appeared in the sky. In the eyes of everyone on Earth, dozens or hundreds of huge white light knives appeared in the sky in an instant. The knife seemed to tear through space and time. It lit up the sky for dozens of miles. The entire base was trembling under the huge energy. GTN, no, there's a move we promised. A teacher shouted. This is not a trick. But it's too late. One after another, the 15-meter wind blades cut down directly. Chapter 23. The overwhelming attacks were like a torrential downpour, all attacking with precision within a radius of less than 100 meters. Boom. The teachers and instructors below summoned their own beasts to block you and beat you to death. To GTN, they were like a sidearm blocking the car. It has no effect at all. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Boom. The fortifications composed of dozens of teachers, instructors and a station commander could not hold on for even 3 seconds. Huge wind blades mixed with energy poured down. In just a moment of contact, several teachers were erased from the world. As it happens, those people who were erased were the ones who had good words to persuade GTN before. Obviously, their disrespect for GTN has angered Xiaoyu Sirius. So I took special care of these people. Protect students. Station Commander Hai knew that they couldn't stop GTN's powerful attacks, but he reacted immediately. Take them and run. As soon as he finished speaking, Station Master Hai took the lead in grabbing 2 students and flew into the sky. The others obeyed Station Master Hai's order this time. Because they also know that this may be their last chance. But they can only carry 2 students per person, and then rush out of the critical attack of the wind blade under the protection of their own beasts. Therefore, the student's beast control has no resistance at all. Ow! In the sound of wailing, each of the beasts that had just been hatched or had only appeared in this world for a year turned into ashes. PFF'd. The students who were held by the teachers and instructors spurted out a mouthful of blood. They knew that their beast master was gone. But at least they saved their lives. There are more than 100 old students and new students, and there are only dozens of teachers and instructors. It is impossible to take them all away. Therefore, there are still 20 or 30 students left on the ground at this time. They saw with their own eyes their companions being picked up by teachers and instructors. But he was ruthlessly left behind. Help! Help me! A veteran student cried for help, hoping that the teacher could take him away. However, the teachers were also at their wits' end and could only tearfully abandon the remaining students. I hate you. Leave a last word on your deathbed. The next moment, each student and their own beasts disappeared in the wind blades that filled the sky. And this isn't over yet. The absolute wind blade was issued by Xiaoyu Sirius. And its word, absolute, means not only absolute power, but also absolute control. The people and beasts below have completely disappeared, but they remain the same. The target of the wind blade turned to the teachers and instructors who carried the students. Whoosh. Each wind blade seems to have eyes, and each one has its own goal. Run. One teacher failed to react in time, and blood spilled into the sky along with 2 students, and their empty bodies fell to the ground with a loud bang. However, no one is paying attention to these at this moment. The teacher above was sweating profusely as he dodged the attacks of the wind blades. After all, the teachers are silver intermediate or even advanced beast masters. He has rich experience and has been fighting against the ferocious beasts in Laoshan all year round. The fighting skills are very good, using different techniques to avoid attacks. However, you can hide for a while, but you cannot hide for a lifetime. The speed of the teacher and instructor gradually slowed down, and the fact that they were carrying 2 students in their arms further reduced their speed. Soon, another roar came out. A teacher and his students accidentally encountered a wind blade. The wind blade explodes when it touches it. No surprise at all. The 3 bodies' internal organs and flesh were scattered in all directions, staining the ground with blood. The current situation is becoming increasingly pessimistic. All teachers face a choice. Either escape by yourself or die with the students. Faced with this multiple choice question, the teacher and instructor did not think at all. Next moment, a large number of students were ruthlessly abandoned directly from a height of tens of meters. Like dumplings falling from the sky, a famous student fell from the sky in horror and fell vertically to the ground. The veteran students have all practiced for a year. The feedback from the beast masters on them has strengthened their bodies a lot. Only, even so, they were smashed to pieces after falling from a height of tens of meters. And some unfortunate students just hit their heads on the ground. The moment he landed, white brain matter burst out. The scene is extremely bloody and terrifying. This is the world of beast masters, this is the world of the weak and the strong. If GTN didn't have great power, he might have died half an hour ago. But there were no ifs, the result was that he won and survived. This is the result he wanted. When the teacher put the student down, the wind blade still chasing the teacher in the sky suddenly disappeared. Who? The tired and panting teachers and instructors gasped for oxygen in the air. They have never been in such a race against death. Even when they were dealing with ferocious beasts, they were not in such a state of embarrassment. Okay, you successfully survived my attack. GTN smiled and said. He came back not for killing people, but for the beast crystals stored in the base. That's what he needs. After the last game, his anger has faded a lot. Next, he will get down to business. Chapter 24. What else do you want to do? The teacher, who was completely frightened, asked in horror. Don't worry, I won't kill anyone anymore. I'm just a student, GTN said with a smile, full of harmony. Like the kid next door. Quote. You now remember that you are a student. Why didn't you think that you were still a student when you went on a killing spree? The teachers and instructors were on the verge of tears. But they would never dare to say it. Then let's start the next round. GTN didn't give them much rest time. What? There's another round. The teachers and instructors who were already relaxed became nervous again. They knew clearly. GTN's next round will definitely be dangerous. Next round. Spend money to buy your life. GTN said calmly. These teachers and students are all rich people. How could he let these people go in vain? Call. Fine. After hearing that the problem could be solved by spending money, they finally put their minds back. Because money is their strong point. Every silver-level powerhouse has a small treasury of his own, which is the wealth they get from hunting ferocious beasts. Although I was very reluctant to give up, as long as I could save my life, it was all worth it. If the money is gone, you can make it again. And if your life is gone, then it is really gone. And those second generations who are still alive are even more anxious and crying with joy. They have no strength, all they have is the heritage of their family. And what is the family background? Isn't that money? My life was saved. At this time, they couldn't wait to stand up and look up to the sky and sigh. Finally able to survive. It's just that their bones were smashed, and even if they moved a little, they would be so excited that they would never get up. At this time, GTN suddenly felt that his Xiaoyu Sirius seemed to be moving a little bit. After carefully understanding the consciousness of Xiaoyu Sirius, GTN realized that it was the reason just now that caused Xiaoyu Sirius to have a tendency to evolve. But at this time, due to insufficient energy, the state was somewhat unstable. Soon, the unique energy fluctuations emitted by Xiaoyu Sirius were sensed by the remaining silver-level experts. They were very familiar with this situation. That's a sign of an impending breakthrough. That is to say, is his beast control about to break through? A trace of fantasy flashed in the eyes of teachers and instructors who realized this situation. Because the evolution and breakthrough of the beast control cannot be disturbed. Once disturbed, the breakthrough of the beast control will fail and the spiritual power will be exhausted. In severe cases, it may even cause the body of the beast to collapse and its strength to drop significantly. And if GTN's beast control is going to evolve now, there is no one around him to protect him. Could this be their final turning point? So is it possible for them to make a comeback? Someone's mind became active again, and a glint of light flashed in their eyes. Some people shook their heads. Now he has accepted his fate. He is completely afraid of GTN, and GTN has also agreed that he can atone for his sins with money, so he is not willing to participate anymore. Station Master Hai, who knew this situation, did not speak out. He knew that all he needed to do now was to do nothing. The more he did, the more wrong he became. After understanding his beast control situation, GTN glanced at the teachers and students present. I saw someone starting to whisper to each other again. He still doesn't care. Don't forget that the evolution of his beast control does not require a lot of energy and time. All he needs is enough experience points. As it happened, he had enough experience points to add points to his beast control. The fluctuations on the body of Xiaoyu Sirius are becoming more and more obvious. Not only the silver level experts can detect it, but even the new civilian students standing far away can feel the strong fluctuations on Xiaoyu Sirius. Come on, he will soon start to hit the top level of black iron. That will be our opportunity. A silver level powerhouse covered in blood whispered to his companions. I won't participate anymore, my spiritual power has been exhausted. His companion had already given up on opposing GTN, so he did not hesitate to find an excuse to refuse. Waste. The blood-stained silver man knew that his friend was already afraid, so he cursed secretly and continued to look for like-minded partners. Don't even say it. Relying on his temptation, he found two other like-minded partners with him, and agreed that when GTN's beast control began to officially hit the top level, they would launch it together to give him a fatal blow. Their beasts have evolved many times, so they know the time of their beast evolution very accurately. Only at the last moment is the time when the beast is at its weakest. And that will be the moment they are most looking forward to. Time passes minute by minute. Waves of ripples appeared in the surrounding spiritual energy of Xiaoyu Sirius's body. This was almost the last moment of evolution. Ouch! Xiaoyu Sirius opened his eyes suddenly, looked up to the sky and roared, his voice deafening. Do it! The blood-stained man shouted excitedly. The moment he shouted, his body went straight to GTN. At the same time, there were two other people heading towards GTN from the other two directions. Chapter 25. 400 meters. In a flash. 300 meters. It's fleeting. 200 meters. The wind is moving fast. Under the city wall, the blood-stained man's face almost showed the joy of victory. 50 meters. So close. I won. The blood-stained man was the first to rush forward. In front of the powerful man with advanced silver skills, the distance of 50 meters could be ignored. PFF'd. Suddenly, the blood-stained man suddenly felt a little light. It felt like my head was floating in the sky and my body was walking on the ground. Before Ermi could react, he turned his head and looked at his two partners, only to see that the two people were looking at him with frightened faces. Then he immediately turned around and ran away without any hesitation. Why are you running? Aren't we going to succeed soon? The blood-stained man was a little strange, but when he accidentally looked down, he found that his lower body was gone. But his body was flying forward. He finally realized it. He was cut off at the waist. The next moment, he closed his eyes and completely lost consciousness. You dare to come for a sneak attack and then want to leave after the sneak attack. There is no such good thing in the world. GTN glanced at the two teachers who were running fast. Xiaoyu Sirius, kill them. The next moment, the two wind blades let out a blast that exceeded the speed of sound, and caught up with the two fleeing people in the blink of an eye. No, I surrender, I have money. One of the men saw the wind blade behind him that was several times his size and was so frightened that he shouted hurriedly. But, the next second, the wind blade passed through him mercilessly, and the same scene happened to the person next to him. Do I care about your money? GTN smiled and said that they have never said a word of apology from beginning to end, and they have not apologized to him for their actions until now. People like this are just garbage alive. I knew it. A teacher who had just refused the invitation to assassinate GTN took a deep breath and looked at the direction of the blood-stained man's death with hatred. Fortunately, I didn't participate, Otherwise there would definitely be more than just those 3 lying there now, and he would be added to the list. GTN didn't care about their time now. He had just added some points to his beast control. A new set of data has been displayed before his eyes. Name, Xiaoyu Sirius. Strength, top, black iron. Qualification, supreme, top. Attributes, wind system, moon system, space system. Skills, absolute wind blade, devour, fury, wolf king's pressure, teleportation. Experience value, 0.500. The change in the data is not very big. His strength has successfully evolved to the top level of black iron, and his experience points have been completely consumed after this upgrade. And the next evolution will be to enter the bronze level, which will be a huge leap. It's over, it's harvest time again. At this moment, GTN really laughed out loud. It has only been 2 or 3 hours since I returned to the base, but many people here have died. Bai, you will be responsible for collecting the bills next. I want everyone to pay half of their net worth. I think they won't mind. If you don't have money, then borrow it from the base. After finishing speaking, GTN looked at Station Master Hai, who was standing. Station Master Hai, it should be fine, right? No, it will be fine even if all the base's storage is taken away. Station Commander Hai dared to refuse now. The blood on the ground was a stiff deterrent to him. I'm not a robber, why should I take things from the base? GTN spread his hands to express that he would not admit it. Quote. The other people were speechless after hearing this. Are you a robber? You are more ruthless than a robber. Of course, they dare not say this. GTN, don't worry, I guarantee that these people will not dare to hide even a penny. Bai patted his chest and said. How many people did GTN kill today? Bai didn't think there were many, not as many as the number of people missing every day in Laoshan City. He has seen too many tragedies since he was a child with his father, who was a teacher. Under the raging tide of beasts, there were more than 1 million casualties. He heard his father say that at the other end of Laoshan City was a battlefield spanning millions of miles that connected other races. My father said that there is a meat grinder, and tens of millions of people die every day. This has never been a peaceful time. This is a cruel world where the weak eat the strong. And he is also not a kind person. He only helped GTN so that he could bring back a cub with gold level qualifications for him, but now he hopes to maintain a good enough friendship with GTN. He can see it. GTN's future will not be limited by a small Laoshan city. Then they won't have any apparent conflict of interest. And as long as we protect this small Laoshan city, we will be satisfied. He will be here to watch the rise of GTN. Taking back the summoning book of the re-evolved Xiaoyu Sirius, GTN yawned and returned to the base to rest. Along the way, everyone who saw him would stop and watch him go away without disturbing him in the slightest. After all, they are still students. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.